Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Season Keepers, the show where the only two people we recommend keeping for the season is us. My name's Matt, aka Clean Sheet Wipeout.
And my name's James, aka SK James FPL.
Happy New Year, everybody. We're back.
Yeah, it's been a while, bit of a gap.
just,
Um,
just a tad, eh?
yeah, well, we didn't see the point in podding for like a four game week,
Nah,
and yeah, so we're back now for game week 21.
exactly. Yeah, there was absolutely no way I was podding between the festive fixtures. There was a day in between the two of them, and if you're seeing family, and I spent the day at the Boxing Day races and that kind of thing, so there wasn't a chance. But we thought we'll get New Year out of the way. We'll get these fixtures up and running, and then hopefully COVID, had passed us by. Sadly, doesn't seem to be the case, but fingers crossed. We had a lot more fixtures this week, and it looks like we've got some doubles coming up, which we'll speak about soon. But probably worth jumping straight into the fixtures then, James, and then afterwards, just before we've started recording, obviously there's been the takeover announcement at Southampton, which I think we're both very pleased about. So we'll speak about that at the end. But first things first. New Year's Day, Arsenal 1, Man City 2.
Yeah, and a brilliant game. Really enjoyed this one. Arsenal were very impressive in
Yeah,
the first half. I was a bit surprised by how much trouble they were causing Man City. They seemed to press them really well. Man City just didn't have any room to play. Um, was very impressed with Arsenal.
yeah, likewise.
But of course, obviously, City did come back into the game, perhaps controversially in the eyes of sort of Arsenal fans. They felt very hard done by with a number of decisions.
Yeah,
But for me, I feel like it was a pen on Bernardo Silva.
yeah. I personally, I think both are penalties. I think the Odegaard, obviously, tackle from Edison. He doesn't get the ball. If you look at the camera angle that I think everybody was sharing on Twitter, it's quite clearly Edison. I mean, to be fair, Odegaard, I suppose, does collide with Edison's foot, but Edison's the one that's coming from the other direction. He doesn't clear the ball himself, so I personally think that's a penalty, and I can see
Yeah,
why I can see why Arsenal fans are rightly aggrieved. But
yeah,
then,
I thought it was as well. To
yeah,
be honest,
yeah, I agreed. And then I do agree with you there. I think Bernardo Silva was also a penalty. Yes, he does dive in the motion of it, but Jacques is holding him at the end of the day, and you
but yeah,
can't.
you can see a clear
Yeah,
shirt pull. I don't know how they were like getting so shitty about it.
no,
Like
nah.
it's there.
It's a stupid mistake. And to be fair, talking of stupidity, what changed the game for me and really allowed Man City back into it is Gabriel.
Yeah, well, very very stupid. Um,
Just
obviously,
just let him go. Like he's turned you. Let him go, because in that moment, as soon as he touches him and pulls him back, it's second yellow, and it's
yeah, it's
such.
sort of reminiscent of Jimenez, really.
Yeah,
Just two
yep,
quick fire yellows, and he's
yeah,
off.
silly, very silly, and yeah, it allowed Man City to get back into the game, and not the goal scorer that we thought would score the winner, but yeah, Rodri obviously getting the winner, taking his shirt off, running up to the Arsenal fans, and then getting absolutely pelted by bottles. But I don't blame them. I mean, what do you expect if you run into a set of away fans and yeah, you're in their stadium, you're taking your shirt off, 93rd minute.
I loved it, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
A bit of shithousery. Like
Exactly, yeah. All right,
just
it's
could have ran to the
prime.
City fans, but no, just go straight to the Arsenal
Straight
fans
to
and
the
get
Arsenal fans.
showered with bottles and
Oh yeah,
all sorts.
prime shithousery. But you used to own Rodri, and I noticed you took him
I
out
fucking
about.
did. Yeah, I took him out a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, I bought him in because I was like hardly any options because there's hardly any teams playing.
Yeah,
And I didn't have much money, so Rodri is the man. Then obviously I removed him because of COVID
yep.
for a hit, I think, and now he ends up scoring. But to be honest, if I didn't take him out last week, I'd have took him out ahead of this game week. So
Yeah, it's fair.
I don't really care. And I got
Nah,
Son in as part of that move, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, you can't really complain. It was a 9 pointer there, and obviously Mahrez scored the other. But yeah, I was impressed by Arsenal. I think I would have liked to see what they did with 11 men, but obviously City got the win, and I think they're running away with the league.
Yeah, I mean they really didn't play well at all. I don't think they had many shots on target. It
No,
was literally like two or three shots on target, and obviously two goals to win the game.
yeah,
Um, that's what title winning teams do. They play well, but they play badly and still get the points.
yeah, absolutely. And obviously we'll move on to the next game, and another smash and grab. It was Watford 0, Spurs 1.
Yeah, another sort of unexpected goal scorer with this one, Davinson Sanchez. Not many
Very
on
late.
him. I think if people go for a Spurs defender, they tend to go for Reguilon.
Yeah,
But obviously, yeah, Sanchez was the one to return here.
it was, yeah. So Backman made a string of good saves. I think it was 9 saves in FPL in total. I thought he was very, very good. But what
Yeah, would have been on for a big points
yeah,
total if
massive.
they didn't score.
Oh, I would 100% got 3 bonus points. I think he was very unlucky not to come away with any. The fact that Lloris, outscored him on bonus is largely, I suppose, down to the clean sheet. But yeah, he would have routed that. I think it was unfortunate for Watford because they played so well for so long. And then I think it was in the 88th minute, there was a stoppage because of an issue, a medical problem in the crowd. So obviously the game was halted for 10 minutes. So that kind of gives Spurs a bit of chance to get off the pitch, regroup, that kind of thing. Also adds on a massive total of added time. I think they ended up playing, I think it was 11 or 12 minutes of added time, including the goal. So 96th minute, Sanchez is the one that pops up with the winner. I don't even think that would have happened had the game not been postponed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the added time, it adds a bit of pressure as well. And
Mm.
fair play to Spurs, they took advantage of it.
Yeah,
And I guess anyone that sort of hopped onto Harry Kane would probably have expected a bit more in this fixture.
yeah, he had his chances, that's for sure. Obviously, Son picked himself up another assist, 2 6 pointers in a row, following up the 2 goals that he got against Liverpool and Palace. So he's slow and steady, but I think from game week 14, Son's returned or had at least one attacking return in every game of that. So it's not been a bad move, and I think we're both on him now, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
Yeah. Right, and then obviously the third game of the New Year's Day special, absolute cracker of a game. It was Crystal Palace 2, West Ham 3.
Yeah, fantastic game. And what a start from West Ham. They just came out firing at
Yeah,
Palace. Sensational goal from Lanzini.
absolutely.
Rice slots it into
Yeah,
him, and it just the touch is incredible. A couple of touches, and then just smashes it into the top corner. It's just a lovely goal,
yeah,
and not many on him. Obviously, I think the common trio was Antonio, Bowen, and Dawson.
yeah.
Or
Dawson or Sufal seemed to be the
yeah,
one or the other,
that's it.
and obviously that became kind of null and void really after Palace scored twice. I think there was a lot of talk on Twitter, wasn't there, about what minute West Ham were going to concede, because I think in the first minute Palace hit the post, and it was just a barrage of attempts from there and a few really poorly missed chances, to be honest, from like the likes of Benteke. Arguably should have scored a couple in the first half, and yeah, West Ham did well to kind of hold on and stem that, and yeah, build a bit of a lead, and just as well they did, because yeah, Elise and Edouard then popped up with 2 goals for Palace, and almost turned it around into a draw, which would have been tidy. But I think the bigger debate was the captaincy, because the announcement pre-game week was the fact that West Ham was one of 3 teams with a double. So obviously West Ham have got Palace away, and then it's Norwich at home, and that's obviously the fixture that we're targeting. But I suppose the debate was Antonio or Bowen for captaincy, and we were split, weren't we?
We were. I went Antonio, and I
And I
think you
went
went
Bowen.
Bowen.
I did, yeah, and obviously at the moment Antonio slightly edges it with his bonus point in there, and the fact that Bowen only got the assist. Even as a Bowen owner, it's a very dubious assist. I'll take it all day long, but to get the assist off of someone else's handball when it wasn't even like he struck it towards goal. He kind of
He just
missed.
headed it backwards,
Yeah,
didn't
headers
he?
it backwards, and then it's such a stupid handball from Milivojevic. Yeah, to get the assist from that, I was laughing. It's very
Yeah, a lot
lucky.
of questionable assists in this game.
There's been a few, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, Sky needs to catch up and give us some of these bullshit assists.
So yeah, I think that's where Sky does really well, because we don't get them, and it does make a big difference, doesn't it?
It does.
All right, jumping on to the 2nd of January fixtures then, and I think a surprising result in the first game. It was Brentford 2, Aston Villa 1.
Yeah, obviously Gerrard's Villa have been very impressive, so it's a bit of a surprise to see them lose this one.
Yeah,
And for anyone that hopped onto Brentford for the double, they're probably going to be a bit disappointed because I
yep.
don't imagine they've gone for Roerslev or or Wissa.
I don't think so. No. I think,
Probably Ivan Toney or Janssen would have been the ones people would have gone for, and
yeah,
they've not actually come away with anything. Just a booking for Ivan Toney.
yeah. I mean, is it? Yeah, Rorislev. He's what played 509 minutes this season out of 21 games. It's not particularly great. Recently, he's been coming into the team. Obviously, against City, he got 90 minutes. And yeah, to start against Villa and then pick up a 14-point haul with a goal and assist. Fair play. But yeah, like you said, no one's on him. He's owned by 0.1% of the game. And I fully
Yeah,
expect that to be like. I played the Planet FPL minus 56 league, for instance, I'm in. And there's a few people that actually gambled on him in that. And
wow,
they've done very well out
Jesus.
of it. But yeah, it'll be those kind of players that make up that 0.1.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a retro haircut as well. If you go on the FPL
Oh,
website,
he
looks
does, yeah.
very much 1998.
Yeah, absolutely. Boy band-esque.
Yeah, get him in, everyone.
And I suppose the news from Aston Villa was the fact that Ollie Watkins wasn't part of the squad.
No, but good old Dings is back.
Yeah, got himself a goal.
Got himself a goal. Maybe now would be the time to get him in. They've got a very good run after the next two games. They've got Leeds, Newcastle, Watford, Saints in amongst the games, and he's a very good striker.
Yep.
Maybe Gerrard can get him into the similar form that he had at Saints.
Yeah, agreed. And what price is he now? He's
7.7.
Oh,
So he's had a few falls from
he
being
has.
injured and out
Yeah.
of favour.
So it could be a good option, and especially for those maybe looking to wild card in or out of doubles. I think yeah, Ings could be a potential option. And you know, the likes of John McGinn, for instance, again performs pretty well. I know he picked up his fifth booking, so I think he's suspended for the next week. But you know, he's been picking up the odd assist under Steven Gerrard, and if you're looking for someone that's real budget, you know, 5.8 million maybe if you want to take a punt on the mighty
Disagree.
John
He's not
McGinn.
done anything in the last 4 games.
Mighty John
You've had a
McGinn,
mare
mate.
there.
Nah,
Done nothing in the last 4 games. He's
got
not playing the next
he's-
game, and you're saying get him in.
get him in. Mate, he got an assist. He got an assist 5 game weeks ago against
Mate,
Leicester.
his name should be John McGout.
It's John
not
McGinn.
McGinn.
It's John McGinn, mate. It's John McGinn.
Let us know if you're McGinn or McGout in the reply to the
Yeah,
pod.
yeah. Why not? I mean, I know fully well what it's going to be, but I love John McGinn. Absolutely love him.
The new bloody what's his name? Norwich guy.
Oh, Pookie.
No, the
No.
Scottish one.
Oh, Gilmore.
Yeah, he's the new Gilmore for you.
Yeah, that's because Billy Gilmore has been shite for Norwich apparently. So, what can you do? The next game pissed me off in one format, but thankfully not an FPL. It was. We'll come on to that in the other podcast if you listen to our Sky. But yeah, Everton 2, Brighton 3.
Yeah, what a strange game. And if you gave me 1,000 predictions to guess who would score goals in a 3-2 win for Brighton, I don't think I'd have got this right in 1,000 attempts.
No,
I mean,
Gordon.
2 goals from Gordon, 2 from McAllister, and a Dan Burn goal. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
It's crazy. And again, McAllister, he's only played 569 minutes this season so far. Pops up, you know, in this game week, gets himself a 15-pointer. Like no one's on him. And yeah, Gordon, for instance, again, 0.3%. He's only played 785 minutes. 14-pointer. The holes in this game week have been fucking ridiculous. It feels like anyone that's massively owned hasn't really returned, and then you've got the likes of Rorislev and Gordon picking up monster holes. It's been weird.
It's been crazy, and obviously I've seen a few people in the community go on to DCL. Obviously he's back.
Yep.
Um,
What a way to come back.
Yeah, but Blazers' penalty over the bar, and I'm just happy in this format that I didn't bring him in.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, like we said, if you listen to our Sky podcast, you'll probably hear a few more expletives about that. But yeah, thankfully, didn't really impact either of our teams. However, it is part of a double for Everton, and obviously I can see
Could
why.
redeem himself.
Yeah, and that Leicester back line, you know, we've seen how susceptible they are to conceding. Yes, Everton are also equally as poor, but I can see goals in that game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see DCL get on the score sheet.
Yeah, I mean, I think Benitez needs him to because he's under a lot of pressure now.
Oh yeah, and they've made a couple of signings. I think they've just signed Patterson from Rangers, and obviously they brought in the other left back on New Year's Day. Can't remember his name, but they seem to be trying to strengthen defensively. So Everton fans will be hoping that it pays off.
Definitely.
Um, a much needed win for the next home team. Leeds 3, Burnley 1.
Yeah, very big win for Leeds in this one, and I think it's actual shame with Afcon that we don't get to put Cornet in our teams because
Yeah.
he's been such a good player, and I would have put him in for this game week had he not been African. That sounds racist, but because he's going to Afcon, of
Yeah,
course.
agreed. And yeah, he's
Um,
obviously missed the last few games as well, hasn't he? Only played 30 minutes against Newcastle, but he was on a really good streak before that. And yeah, to come back, play 45 minutes, and get a goal straight away. Yeah, I think Sean Dyche should be a bit annoyed that he's now got to see him leave.
yeah, he's such a good player. Yeah, when he comes back, I'm definitely going to be thinking about sort of squeezing him into my team.
Yeah, agreed. And then obviously those with Rafinha, had they not kept an eye on the game and then saw that Leeds had scored 3, they must have been looking at it and thinking, oh, definitely got at least a goal or an assist. Once again, nothing.
Yeah, would not be happy with that at all. Especially it's quite a tasty fixture as well.
Yeah,
It's just rotten luck.
frustrating. And then obviously the final game on the Sunday, it was another really good game, to be fair. A brilliant start for the away team, but then the home team really came back into it, and it finished Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2.
Yeah, decent game as you say. Obviously, Salah's last game before going off to Afcon, and it proved to be a decent differential for people that still own him because his EO was below bloody 150 for the first time in weeks.
Yeah, I was very glad he only got one because, I mean, again, in our Sky pod, I'll probably say something a bit different because points wise, it's different in that format. But yeah, 7 points in FPL, I would have taken that had you said Salah will only get 7 because it didn't hurt me as much as it potentially could have. In the way that Liverpool routed to start with, like they were so dominant. I was worried. I really thought, okay, Salah's on for a hat trick here. This could end badly for Chelsea. And yeah, they kind of obviously tweaked things a little bit and came back into the game, courtesy really of a absolute cracking strike from Kovacic.
Yeah, great goal. Very much sort of going under the radar, Kovacic. A lot of people obviously sort of question people chucking him in off of a goal earlier in the season, but he seems to be doing okay. Obviously, a very good player as well.
Yeah,
Maybe him and Kante starting to build quite a decent partnership. And obviously, he is very cheap in the game.
yeah, definitely. And another very dubious assist, which has annoyed me slightly, for Alonso because he sat first on my bench. So
Ooh,
yeah, if Tino Livramento doesn't play in the Saints fixture against Brentford, then I'll get Alonso on. If he does, yeah, his 6 points are planted to my bench. But I didn't expect anything against Liverpool. I thought they'd concede, and I definitely didn't expect them to return. So I wouldn't change the decision, but it annoyed me a little bit when FPL gave him that assist because again, it's another one of those that I don't really think it should be.
yeah, that's just the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, and on the other side, obviously, it's kind of for Liverpool. Mane and Salah have now gone to the African Cup of Nations. I think the talk at the moment going around is Liverpool have got a bit of a COVID crisis going on in their squad, and the game on Thursday. So to timestamp this, we're recording 5 to 6 on the 4th. So obviously their game is on the 6th against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. There's rumours that that could be in jeopardy. It sounds as though Liverpool might not even have a goalkeeper available. Obviously, the only keeper available at the weekend was Kelleher. I think both Adrian and Alisson have got COVID. And it sounds as like other players are now testing positive. So if you add that to the fact that they've lost players to the African Cup of Nations, that Carabao Cup semi-final could be in doubt.
Not good, not good. And obviously that'll have to slot in somewhere else.
Yep. Yeah, and I think
it's gonna create doubles
yeah,
in the
yeah,
future.
definitely. I think James from Planet FPL and obviously Ben Crellin and a couple of others were talking about it on Twitter earlier today, saying that if that is the case, it might then mean that the likes of Liverpool don't get a double. I think it's Liverpool, Arsenal, or maybe even Wolves won't get a double in game week 22, when all the talk was that they're probably likely to have one. If that gets moved, yeah, they're going to have to obviously rearrange Premier League fixtures, because the Carabao Cup final is in February, isn't it? So they can't really hold
Yeah,
off too long. They'll have to get it played, and they'll probably just slot it into where they would have played a double. Worth keeping an eye on. For me, free hit in 2020 or 2022, it is 2022 technically, but in 22 is probably becoming more and more appealing, particularly if that happens, because if Liverpool don't double, then I think there could be some fixtures and some teams that you really want to target, and maybe using the opportunity with the fact that there's no Mane, no Salah. Jota will obviously be on his own. I think Firmino has also got COVID. Um, if you're on Jota and Trent, do you really want him for a single when, there are probably other teams that are going to double around them? It'll be a big decision to make.
yeah. No, I think that might be an option. Obviously, things will change, so don't think about it too much
No,
until closer to the deadline, I guess.
God no. And then the final fixture that's been played for this week was, I would say, a surprising result, but given their performances recently, probably not. It was Manchester United 0, Wolves 1.
Yeah, this saw the reintroduction of Phil Jones, who
Hey,
actually had a pretty good game.
man of the match in my
Considering he
opinion.
got, yeah, considering he hadn't played for 2 years, it
Yeah.
was very good performance. And I guess Ronaldo owners are going to be very disappointed from this.
Yep, just a tad.
Yeah, nothing at all to come away with, and obviously Wolves ended up snatching the win in this game, which is perhaps we're all sleeping a little bit on Wolves defenders and goalkeepers because
100%.
we've missed quite a lot of clean sheets.
Yeah, I've not really considered them, but if you look at Jose Sarr, for instance, since game week 12, he's got 8, 10, 6, 3, 4, 6, 6, 5. Like, you'd take that any day of the week for any goalkeeper. And yeah, I personally am one of those that have largely ignored Wolves. But I think they've only conceded 14 goals this season so far.
Yeah, 14, and they've had 6 clean sheets in the last 8 games in the
Yeah,
Premier League, so you can't argue with that.
no, definitely not. And if I was to look at free hit and say Wolves were getting a fixture like a double, defensively I'd 100% look at them. In moving forward, I think their fixtures are pretty reasonable, probably until the last few weeks of the season. There are definitely areas in which you can target them. I wouldn't be against having at least one Wolves defender, or maybe even Jose Sarr. Especially if you're wildcarding, I think the time game week 28 might look quite reasonable. To be fair, they've got a good little run of, I think, 5, 6 games in there that might be a good time.
Yeah, I think they're doing a decent job against anyone. They've
Yeah,
had clean sheets against West Ham, Chelsea, Man United now. Um, yeah, it's looking good for them.
agreed. Yeah, and obviously the three fixtures then that have been announced for the doubles. So it's Saints Brentford, which is the quarter to eight fixture on the Tuesday. Everton Leicester, which is the Sky fixture, 8 o'clock that night on the Tuesday, and then on the Wednesday is the single. It's West Ham versus Norwich. So obviously we're both hoping for a bit of a West Ham route there, get some points for our forwards Bowen, Antonio, and hopefully a clean sheet would be nice. For the other fixtures, I think it's going to be tough. I think Saints Brentford will be a tricky fixture. Obviously, we're about to discuss the Saints takeover, and there's a bit of a link with Brentford there. And then Everton Leicester, I think, will be a game full of goals. I don't think either will keep a clean sheet. But yeah, I think West Ham should win comfortably.
I hope so because that's the only coverage I've got left. I've got 3 West Ham, and that's it.
Yeah, I've got 3 West Ham and Tino. So fingers crossed for a Saints clean sheet. But I think Brentford's going to be a tricky fixture.
I think it will do.
And obviously, we said at the start that we'll touch upon it, but finally, James, after 4 years of Gao Jinseng's ownership, in which it feels like we've gone backwards, we've spoken about it on our obviously the Saints special that we did of how disappointed we were with the ownership, the reluctancy to pump any cash into it. we have been finally taken over today.
Good, great news. If they spend any money, it will be an improvement on Gal because
Yeah,
all he's done is just have a low net spend
yes,
or negative net
yeah,
spend each year.
exactly.
And
It's been baffling, absolutely baffling.
yeah, yeah, so we've just been selling our best players, keeping the profits, buying cheaper players, and somehow Ralph's done a really good job of
Yeah,
keeping us in the Premier League. And I'm actually quite excited to see what he could do if we spend a little bit of money. Doesn't have to be
100%.
a lot,
No,
just some money.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think, I don't know if you've kind of seen this, but in the ground, it's quite clear that Ralph gets frustrated. And I think in a few press conferences and stuff, it's been clear that he's been frustrated with not only things on the pitch, but things off the pitch, and the lack of backing at times. And like you've just touched on there, I'm really excited and I'm glad that he's stuck around because I want to see him given an opportunity under a model that is willing to try and push the club forward. And I don't believe we were in that stage at all, obviously under Gao. And I think the reason it's probably taken so long, and having read the statement, is because the club have been really reluctant to sell to someone that they didn't believe would benefit the club in the long term future. And it sounds as though this Sport Republic takeover is one that they've been really interested in and have obviously bought in. And it kind of matches us because Republic were founded by Henrik Kraft and Rasmus Ankersen, who have obviously been heavily involved in Brentford, in the model that kind of got them to where they are now. And they're backed by I think it's Dragan Solak that you'll see the name on Sky Sports. So obviously he's the man with the money. But yeah, it feels as though our black box system that obviously we kind of utilize in our scouting network and stuff that the club have spoken about years ago will probably go hand in hand with this kind of analytics and the statistical model that they've utilized at Brentford. And I think they'll really bring that to the club. And hopefully it might even benefit our academy because, we've seen us go into the likes of Chelsea for Livramento, for Sameu, who I fully expect to see kind of integrate into the starting lineup sooner rather than later. But yeah, hopefully it will allow us to grow and bring through these players, but obviously attract players that back in the day we were finding the likes of Tadic and whatnot. We were bringing them to the club, and then Mane. You kind of think about all the names that we've had. It was through the scouting network, and we've really lacked that in the last 3-4 years. So hopefully this will push us on, but I think it just gets rid of that negativity that the fans have had about the current ownership for quite a while.
Yeah, big time. Gives a bit of a lift around the place, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm not going to get too excited just yet. We're definitely not going to win the league in the next 4 or 5 years,
Jesus
but
knows, man.
but it would be nice to maybe buy a ticket to a European fixture one day.
Yeah, yeah, it would.
That would be the day. Gone are the days of me and you at the San Siro, but you never know, James. We might be there again one day.
Yeah, maybe.
Fingers
Hopefully in the
crossed.
new camp this time.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Yeah, I was going to say it would be in the Europa Conference League against Barcelona in 4 years' time.
Yeah, the worst Barcelona side probably in years.
Yeah, can you imagine? Christ, so Barcelona could be a whole different podcast. I mean, the fact that they're still bringing in players like Ferran Torres, even though they've got no money, is weird. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that one day. I think that's probably a good place to end then, James, because obviously we've still got 3 games in the game week. We're not quite sure what's happening with the double game week 22 fixtures yet, but when we know, and obviously when the Twitter community know, we'll plan a podcast around it, and then we'll come back to you with that. But for now, James, I think it is a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Cheers, guys.